Why, hello there. I guess I'm late. How we doing? Happy Wednesday, everyone. Hi, I'm Chef Jay Tay. How we doing? What's new? Chicken's working again. Yay! Hey there, Soph. Welcome to Milk Poker. Hello there, Nan Reader. Impressive streak going. Melvin, welcome in. Hello, Zahara. Primrose. So we're working with Ketchup tonight. Ketchup night. The plans for tonight's dinner are mini meatloafs or meatball meatloafs with ketchup on top, obviously. I'm gonna pair that with mashed potatoes, because you gotta have mashed potatoes with your meatloaf. And then I've got the cauliflower in the fridge, so we're gonna do sweet and sour cauliflower. So it'll be a second use of ketchup there to make the sweet and sour sauce. And then for dessert, I'm gonna do peanut brittle with ketchup in it. So that is what you have in store for you tonight. But we'll get going with our coffee here. Got our coffee grinds started. Get them all hydrated. Welcome in, JK4T. That's what I could have picked up today. Went out shopping. There's more than one thing that I couldn't find today, so I guess we gotta go out shopping, so doesn't matter. But I was reminding myself that I need to buy more, like, alcoholic clean wipes. I have no idea if anything else works as far as channel points or events. I'm hopeful all of it works. We'll see if it unlocks everything properly or not. I'm gonna have my odds on not. But hey, you know that's me living my life one prompt at a time. Appreciate all of you joining me tonight. Hopefully you've had a good start to your week. Cheers. So, ketchup, meatloaf. What all am I throwing in this meatloaf tonight? Let's start by doing up a bunch of veggies here, I think. Let's see, do I have onion in the fridge? I don't see that. Might as well get the cauliflower out while I'm here. Yeah, we'll throw one or two of those in there for color. Need a little bit of this. Ooh, what you drinking? What's your beer choice? This is just bog standard yellow onion. I don't know what bog standard yellow, what bog standard is, but it's your generic yellow onion from the warehouse store. I don't know why I keep buying onions there. They have 50 different layers on them every single time. They're all so heavily cured. They have to have been hanging around forever. Yeah, it is pretty, but generally if you're cooking, you shouldn't be using a sweet onion. Sweet onions are sweet when they aren't cooked. They're for if you want to put like onion in a salad or raw in a sauce. There's always exceptions to the rule, but in general. Oh, how am I doing this? Realizing this isn't how I want to do this for the meatballs. So we're still going to dice this. Because I already started. And then I'm actually going to grate the other one, I think. Hey, Grandpas. We're doing mini meatloafs with a ketchup topping. I'm doing sweet and sour cauliflower and sweet and sour roasted cauliflower, or yeah. And peanut brittle with ketchup. And I actually don't even want the whole half onion here either, maybe. Maybe only doing half of this. Or a quarter, depending on your math. No, we're doing more than that. Using the lid, which doesn't really work. It's sort of ironic how hard it is to do ketchup sweet, considering it is so sweet. Like it's essentially like savory tomato jam. Alright, so that's going in our meatballs. That's the start of our meatball mix.
Hi, Alex. Welcome in. We'll grab a mini yellow and red sweet pepper. Hey, Bakery. So after we get this finely chopped up, we're going to mix this with the... I'm going to do all beef tonight. Ooh, that reminds me what else I need to get going here too. I need to start soaking some breadcrumbs. Where's the rest of those nasty wannabe panko breadcrumbs that I've been using to use up? Did I use those up? I hope I used those up, because I don't see them. Dairy. Hey, Dragon. Alright, that's just gonna get messier. It's like frosting and chocolates. Once it gets up the sides, it just sort of... Just let it be. You're just gonna make it worse. I oiled my cutting board. It looks all nice and happy.
White people tacos for dinner.
I need description of just such a ethnic sounding dish. What else are we throwing in with this, other than meat? I guess I'm down to meat and seasonings and stuff.
I'm making mini meatloaves. Mini meatloaves, sweet and sour cauliflower.
Nope, we're doing little mini meatloaf. So essentially meatballs, but we're gonna just bake them in the oven with ketchup on top. So they become little mini meatloafs. Ground beef El Paso taco box with lettuce, salsa, cheese, and sour cream. I'm guessing a mild cheddar for the cheese. With no heat whatsoever. And the salsa is mild. So speaking of spicy, let's add our other things here. Starting with some Liam Parkins. Well, now see, that sounds. I gotta be honest, I think of white people and I don't think of them prepping salsa. Garlic. Cayenne. Paprika. Nice. I wasn't hating on the fact that you do salsa. That is amazing. Everyone should do salsa. I just don't like. We live in the DoorDash economy. What am I forgetting here? Oh, that'll go in here. A little ancho chili powder. Little dark and deep. I haven't added any cumin. I'm not going to go there. We'll add our soaked breadcrumbs in here. I'm debating if I add any ketchup in the actual mix of the meatloaf itself. This is thick enough and holding up together well enough that I'm not thinking of throwing any eggs into this. Yeah, we're gonna go there. A little bit of light ketchup. Trying to make sure we don't have any huge clumps still in there of anything. That's looking pretty evenly mixed. I will go with that. That pairs up pretty well. I wasn't expecting it to be that perfect of a matchup. Are you seeing the vision now? The little meatloafs with their red caps of ketchup on them. This one's a little bit big. There we go.
I'm doing relatively good on frames tonight. I had a few, but I haven't looked, but I have a few, but I usually have a few, like, starting up the program and all of that before I even start broadcasting. That's because it immediately starts trying to broadcast NDI to the other computer as soon as it opens. And it's failing because it hasn't completely started up. I don't know why they coded it that way, but they did. Then again, like, it was someone that built the third-party app that's allowing me to use NDI in the first place, so... Okay, so we have mini meatloafs. Let's prep some taters. Hi there. Wiggle song. Fan time. Always the second to last one, too. Something to do with how, like, my mind is like, okay, you're almost done with this one. Stayed that time. But the odds are not in its favor. What's the big Olympic news of the day? I haven't watched any of that, really. I actually didn't watch really anything yesterday as far as that. I have trouble watching the Olympics. Like, I like the athleticism and all of the different competitions and the focus on all of these different things. I can't stand the constant fake drama. Or it's not necessarily all fake drama, but the trumped up or enhanced drama of all of it is just... I can only go so far with watching it until I just have to turn it off. That said, I like the athleticism. Hey, don't call my scramble game that. I did a dangerous thing while streaming. I bumped the mouse. I legit for a moment had a thought that I had messed something up with my stream, because I looked over and my dashboard had switched to the new normal splash dashboard that Twitch has now. They force us always to look at now. Instead of I just want to go to my dashboard for the stream. Instead, we have... Sorry to any ambassadors out there that may... But instead, we have ambassador tips with information that a teenager should be able to figure out. Engage with your audience. We'll start preheating our oven. Let's say 375 for these tonight.
I mean, I know I'm not the great at communications and talking, and I'm not Mr. Motormouth, which is a lot of what streaming really is. But at least I'm not that bad. I think I could communicate more while I'm actually doing prep work and be perhaps more clear or state more often what I'm doing. Let's see how the bot's doing tonight. Oh, hey, it might have actually played the stats thing. Did it play the stats thing, chat? That's an interesting error. It's a little out of the blue. That error I'm talking about is... I don't know if it just doesn't have a proper record for him in the database. Not sure. But I'm happy that most of the channel points seem to be back. Let's see. I didn't check if it unlocked the rest of them. No, it didn't. $50 streams.
and build our sweet and sour sauce here. Oh, actually, I bought this, but I wanted to use the other one for this. We want to use the white vinegar apple cider vinegar. Is it this one or is it that one? It's this one. We're going to leave that one out too. Because I don't need 3 bottles of vinegar kicking around. I call this white vinegar apple cider vinegar because it's mostly white vinegar that I poured into an apple cider vinegar bottle. So there's a little bit of apple cider vinegar taint there. But it's mostly that good white vinegar. How'd you make your cauliflower? Feta queso? I'm confused. We're going to saute down the onions and peppers. We're going to add them in with the cauliflower for the sweet and spicy. So we got vinegar, we got sugar, you got ketchup. That's the basis of your sweet and sour sauce, folks. Hopefully your ketchup bottle doesn't explode all over the place when you spray it. Getting ketchup even on the outside of the pan. I was just trying to think of a more regional term for queso, and I couldn't come up with something like for feta, like feta cashcumber cheesiness. I don't know. I'm lost. Worcestershire fish sauce.
Salt. MSG. And pepper. Last thing, garlic. Actually, no, two things. Garlic and ginger. And since our bot is not properly going to ads, I'm going to take this moment and go to an ad. I think this is a good break point. I'll see all you lovely people back here in about 3 minutes. "30 minutes late for my ad. But I only say that because I don't want people to have to watch pre-rolls. I hate pre-rolls. I hate forcing people to watch pre-rolls, especially new eyes. I'm actually a legit pissed at Twitch about how they handle ads too. Like, why are they turning it into a game for streamers? Like, why do they have this ad manager that you gotta add the extra minutes to in order to actually min-max the actual time that you can get? Or you have to code your own bot to do it. When, like, very few, like, basically no one that I talk up to as far as streamers or listen to as streamers are like, yeah, I love ads. Here's have some more. Why are they making it like a thing that we have to deal with? Like, I'm sure they'll counter that with, the ad manager manages everything for... No, it doesn't. It just complicates things. Just play the ads that you want to play. Let me set if I want pre-rolls or not. You know? How hard is that? It made me realize why they're doing it just now. Because it allows them to put more of the blame on the streamers. I'm turning on the potatoes to start cooking. Like, if they really wanted streamers involved, they would have us doing promotions for Turbo and stuff like that, and Let's oven up to 375. I'm debating how I want to put the ketchup on top of these. Nah, I don't think that'll work very nicely. We're just going to use a bowl and a spoon. I'm bringing if you're just tuning in from the ad on the stove, all that I did during the ad break is I turned the potatoes and the sweet and sour sauce on. We're bringing both of those up to a boil and cutting the heat on the sweet and sour sauce as soon as it cooks. You can thicken it with a cornstarch slurry if you want. You can actually thin it out and then thicken it with a cornstarch slurry if you want. I think the little bit of ketchup that's there, that is still in a cohesive blob, is going to do enough to get it to coat the veggies. It's ketchup for our meatburgers, or our mini meatloafs. I'm going to add some garlic and some ancho chili to our ketchup on top. And then just going to dot the top of all of them. Light here to start. Maybe come back, see how things bake into it. Don't really typically put the ketchup on top till towards the end. But I don't want these to dry out too much at the same time, too. With the way all the fast casual chains try to make everything into little bite-sized, like, let's make this another chicken fingers for the next generation. Everything. I'm surprised that this is not something that's like in the fast casual space. Just realized I'm doing all of this and y'all can't see what I'm doing. That was the perfect little like pour just for the top first coat. Scraping out the last of this. Trying to get a last little bit on these last two. Hey Sniper, welcome in. Got that check-in back to working. Though nothing else is working still. Though I think a lot of it's not working because the thing just didn't turn, the bot didn't turn half of the stuff on today. We're making progress. It's getting better. But it's doing more. We'll eventually be there. He said. A year ago when you started this project. Alright, so our mini meatloafs are going to be going in the oven. Our sauce over here came to a boil, so I guess I'll get a second spatula dirty. We'll get that ketchup mixed in there. Actually, we'll get a whisk dirty. Well, it's not neon orange, but that's some tasty sweet and sour there. He says without having tasted it. Heavy tang. Sweet. Yeah. Why are you not showing me that, bot? Why are you not letting me know what the scramble is? Silly bot. Changing what's broke every week. So this should help cool down that sauce nice, so that it's ready to coat our cauliflower, onion, and green pepper. We got that for that. We got that for that. So yeah, happy Wednesday. He says, after saying he's not great at communicating, 5 minutes of dead air just staring at things. Yeah. So we got pretty much everything prepped up. Or we're waiting on things to cook. We got about 30 minutes. I'm guessing about 30 minutes on our mini meatloafs. The smaller size is making it a little bit harder for me to judge. Like, you cook a whole loaf and you got to cook that for quite a while in order to get that cooked to an internal temperature that's safe to eat. These little guys ain't going to take forever to cook. It's also why I went with 375 rather than 400, or like it's also going to push that time out and maybe give me a little more wiggle room as far as doneness. So I think we're going to give this about 10 minutes here. I think this is a good AFK point. Since, yeah, I don't have a whole lot to talk about tonight. Like, not a whole lot going on the last couple of days. Been just sort of hanging out at home. Do I need to know every famous chef in the world? I've sort of covered here in chat that I have a horrible memory. Ooh. No worries. I haven't heard of him. I'm just sort of curious why it's... It was just sort of an odd first question. Welcome in. Hi, I'm Chef Jay Tay. Happy to meet you. No, I can't say that I know who J.S. Chianto. You mean the cauliflower? Do have a multilingual scramble going on in chat, usually. Let's make sure that that's actually working.
There we go. Really, I'm still getting... Still having issues with Olama, even though I've gone through and rewritten and redone the entire setup with it. Alright, so I said 10 minutes, probably 5 minutes ago. We're going to take 10 minutes. I'll see all of your lovely faces back here in a couple minutes.
Now, a new creation from Seal Test. Cottage cheese in ready-to-serve portions. Handy envelopes bring you brand new convenience and ease. Zip, it's open, quick and neat. Just the amount you need, the easy way to serve cottage cheese. The rest stays moist and creamy. Ready for next time.
Are they handy? Cottage cheese in ready-to-serve portions.
So easy to use, quick, and no bother at all.
The rest stays really fresh, moist, and creamy.
Yes, serving cottage cheese was never as easy as this. Seal Test's new square package with handy, ready-to-serve portions. Zip, it's open. Simple as can be. The rest stays moist and creamy fresh. You'll love Seal Test cottage cheese in new, ready-to-serve portions. Get some soon.
Now, class, Mr. Tiger will show us how Kellogg's Sugar Frosted Flakes cereal starts out.
Is the flake field?
It's a cornfield. Kellogg's toast corn into golden flakes and adds a secret frosting. Helps keep them extra crunchy and delicious. It's part of your good breakfast and tastes.
I know, great! Sit down breakfast with Tony, and you'll discover why it's
Great.
Mr. Tiger, you're wonderful.
Oh, shucks.
Something new has been added. The General Electric portable mixer now has a drink mixer for delicious shakes and juice drinks in quicker than a shake. An extra attachment at no extra cost. This GE portable mixer weighs less than 3 pounds, yet it's powerful enough to blend the heaviest batter. Also mixes sauces at the range. It has low speed for cookie dough, medium speed for beating frostings, and high speed for whipping egg whites. And look, this handy push button releases the beaters at a touch. And no dangling cord. You can remove the cord so it stores neatly on the wall. Comes in 4 decorator colors. See it at your GE dealers. Does any mixing job anywhere.
If you're still watching television on a small screen set, you're missing a lot. Here, for example, is a close-up on a 10-inch set. See how much smaller it is than my head? Now I'd like to show you the same close-up on a 21-inch set. There. Just look at the difference. She's as big as I am now. You can have big screen close-ups just like that. Close-ups as large as life with RCA Victor's great new 21-inch model, the Master 21, at the lowest 21-inch price in RCA Victor history, as little as $199.95. Visit your RCA Victor dealer soon. See television's greatest value, the Master 21, big screen 21-inch quality TV for $199.95. And remember, every year more people buy RCA Victor than any other television.
Satisfying, lots of pleasure. A coffee break makes the moment right. Fresh aroma, friendly flavor. Make it coffee, make it often, make it right.
To brighten any moment.
Make it coffee.
To enjoy that fresh aroma.
Make it often.
Make it up fresh each time in a clean container. And for full flavor,
Make it right.
and here's how. For each cup of fresh drawn water, use one approved measure of your favorite coffee. That's all, one approved measure per cup.
Satisfying cups of pleasure. A coffee break makes the moment bright, fresh aroma. Friendly flavor. Make it coffee. Make it often. Make it right.
What? Keeping the coffee in the icebox?
Yes, Mr. Jones, it's a new kind of coffee, roasted by a new secret process. Hence, this new none such coffee has a different flavor, a flavor preserved by vacuum packing, the flavor retained by refrigeration after the jar has been opened. Just taste it. You can't miss that delicate aroma, that clean, mellow taste. Yes, in cooking, the way to a man's heart is most of all through the coffee pot. In every jar, you'll find 3 special pointers, valuable in all methods of making coffee. Try new none such coffee now. Use half the jar. If not 100% satisfied, get all your money back from your grocer without argument. Special for movie week, only 28 cents a pound, plus 3 cents refundable deposit on the jar.
What are you doing here? You ought to be outside with the rest of the kids.
This is where Thanksgiving really begins, isn't it, Edgar?
Well, now, if you're referring to the aroma of roast turkey, I concur.
No, Ray, I was talking about the kitchen. It looks like a real center of hospitality.
Did you say hospitality?
Uh-huh.
That's one thing we're always prepared for around here. Help yourself.
Wouldn't this be a good time for you and your guests to have Coca-Cola, too?
Yes, and Coca-Cola is so delicious, so refreshing, so tempting to any guest when you bring out those familiar bottles with tiny beads of moisture running down their frosty sides, assuring you that the Coke inside is really ice cold. And the good, the gracious, the friendly homes of America are always prepared for hospitality, not only on Thanksgiving Day, but every day all the year around, no matter who comes to call or who happens to drop in. And one of the easiest, simplest, and surest ways in the world to be prepared for hospitality is to have plenty of Coca-Cola in your refrigerator, ice cold and ready to serve all the time. It's a wonderful way to say to folks, so glad you came. Welcome anytime.
Hello, may I come in? I am Chef Boyardi. Perhaps you have seen my picture on Chef Boyardi products at your grocers. Today I want to tell you about a wonderful dinner for 3. A dinner that only costs about 15 cents a serving. It's my own Chef Boyardi spaghetti dinner with meat sauce or mushroom sauce. It all comes in one carton. A full half pound of tender, quick cooking spaghetti, 10 full ounces of rich, tasty sauce, and to top it off, a whole can of zippy grated cheese. A wonderful food. So ask your grocer for Chef Boyardi spaghetti dinner with meat or mushroom sauce, won't you? And look for other Chef Boyardi's products. They're also delicious, they're also nourishing, and they help keep the cost of your meals down. Chef Boyardi's products are at best grocers.
Ask for Chef Boyardi's spaghetti dinner. Only about 15 cents a serving.
Only 15 cents a serving. Welcome back, everyone. I'm back from the ad, or from the break. And I think next steps here. Hi, welcome back. We're back from the break. Now you can actually hear me. Hi there. I think our next steps here are to prep our setup for our peanut brittle so that I can just do that and go. And then we're just going to work our way through pretty much everything all at once. This is our tray for our peanut brittle. We're gonna need not much. I don't think there's much water at all with this. Corn syrup going in with the water. If the top will open. It's opening, it's just really, really slow to turn. And get rid of the last of this bottle. It's really sort of cool looking to have this pattern in the bottom of the glass jar. Doesn't really come across as nice on camera. Very interesting, like frosted effect in person. Please open, seal. The seal is like disintegrating into 50 layers. Boo. Alright, so we have this set. We're going to do vanilla, peanuts, and let's see, butter. For those not following along, working on the peanut brittle for the dessert tonight. I don't know if I have the heart to do this entirely with ketchup, but we're definitely going to do a hefty portion with ketchup. Baking soda or baking powder, vanilla, butter. Let's get our peanuts and our sugar. In no way sponsored by the fact that I have entirely way too many peanuts in the sauce. Am I gonna do this and this? I have to worry about it foaming up. Let's do a larger one than this. Let's do an aluminum pan. Aluminum. Don't look at me. Ooh, beer acquisition. Hopefully an amicable price point. Oh, hey, I'm still all zoomed in, aren't I? Convenient. Now, I make the assumption that people may type things differently than they speak. Do you call it a convenience store? Do you call it a party store? Do you call it a bodega? Do you call it a... What is your term for the corner store? That goes for everyone, because it's another one of those things that's sort of like where you're from, especially if you speak a different language. Alright, so next step, we're going in on our cauliflower now. We got 6 minutes on our initial timer on our meatloafs. Let me take a glance at those. Oh. Okay. Those are looking like mini meatloafs. I've been using the avocado spray oil because I'm using it up. Like, I'm not going to buy more of that. Like, it's nice having some sort of spray, but I'm just going to go back to using my pump olive oil, even though it's a little like a jet stream rather than a spritz. That thing just like aerosolizes the stuff. It's just like, I have to worry about breathing it when you use that. So start by sauteing some onion and pepper with some salt. And we'll do a second batch of ketchup here for on top of the meatloafs. Bit more ancho, bit more garlic. And we'll use a brush this time because they're not going to fall apart as easily after cooking. Beef proteins are all holding them together now. So we got that. How we looking over here, onions and peppers? Or onion and pepper? Take the skins off a couple of these peanuts that I see skins on still. Wow, wheezing. That's lovely. Hard edges still on our taters. Yep, that was what I said, captions. And when I start talking about having multiple versions of captions for the bot to interpret, I don't think people realize, like, yeah. And these are like supposed to be like the new ones, the better ones, the ones that are using more of your CPU power than the old ones. And yeah. It doesn't like when I say folks. It actually got it that time. It usually says something else. And now I just realized why even more streamers use the term chat. Yeah, there's all sorts of lovely translations online. And there's some better ones if you actually pay for them too. But as far as quick and on stream overlay and working with Twitch captions, and I mean, it could be done, but it's sort of like a project. That was the timer on our mini meatloafs. I'm going to pull those out of the oven and give them a second basting of ketchup-like product. Mini meatloafs. Beginning to think the fork was superior dabbing product here. This one wants to tip over. Though I think I'm doing pretty good on that odds-wise. There's majority of them are standing pretty tall. Proud. Back in the oven. Though those are probably ready right now, I'm going to give them a little bit more of a roast and a little more cook on the top. Onions and peppers are looking good. We can add our broccoli or our cauliflower to that. Splash of water to steam. Let's check the taters before I drain them. Actually, I sort of want to give those another minute. Heat off on that. We'll just let that coast to finish cooking through. I'm pausing now mostly because the potatoes, I don't think the potatoes are quite there. We can get started on these. We can move this and start cooking our sugar. And then we've got our corn syrup and water that we're going to mix in with that. So that is now all in there. And vigorously heat. Then I'm going to allow it to do its boil and bubble all on its own. And then we'll do this once it starts. We'll start stirring it once we add the peanuts in there. Once we get it up 250-ish. Is our oven off? Yes, good. So they're in there in the hot oven, but the hot oven is not continuing to be reheated. If that's the definition of Bavarian, why do they call it Bavarian cream? Hey, Giblets. Depends on what you're using them for. Are you turning them into French fries? Are you turning them into mashed potatoes? Okay, I lied. I stirred it. Mostly because I wanted to make sure it wasn't unevenly heating. Which it most certainly is, but that's life. Hash browns, you want them pretty much cooked through. Like, you're mostly, like, if you want them pretty much completely cooked through, and then when you just put them on the heat there, you just get the nice brown on the outside of them, warm them up. But I say something like that, and then someone will overcook it, and they'll in turn be like, well, now I overcooked them. We have any peanut brittle makers in chat? I'm adding ketchup to mine, but I'm curious, do you add booze to yours? We're heating our mixture here of water, sugar, and corn syrup to a temperature of at least 250-ish. And we're going to add our peanuts in there, which are going to drop the temperature down quite a bit. But we're going to then heat it up beyond that 250 up to near 300. And then we're going to mix all the other goodies in there, our ketchup, our vanilla, our butter, and our baking powder. And we're going to pour it out on a... I need a spoon for that. And 215-ish here. We're still pausing here 212-ish to burn off all of that water that was in there. Certainly. I mean, it's just a hard cracked candy with nuts mixed into whatever nuts you choose. Peanuts are just sort of the classic one. Who's classic? I don't know. Mine? Perhaps? This is going to pretty rapidly increase in temperature once we get rid of that water in there. And so I'm taking the temp down to something that is more manageable as we get closer. And yeah, we're starting to quickly. We're already jumping 5-10 degrees here. My stirring slowed it down, but Now this isn't really the proper thermometer to be doing this with. I should be doing this with a proper candy thermometer. This thing likes to drop down to the... I don't know if you can see this over here, but I have one of those probe thermometers. It's really better for like roasts in the oven than this. And I used to have a candy thermometer, but I broke it. You notice the bubbles are getting larger, they're staying longer, it's not moisture so much anymore. It's still bubbling off moisture, but it's lower percentage. Welcome back, Soph. I like peanuts. I like other nuts too. Oh, we're definitely getting there looking at what's being left over in the... Yeah. We've now got a liquid that's sticky enough that it's... I'm worried about getting it on my skin. I would not want to... Yeah, this is... You know, good weapon if someone decides to break into the house right now. We're still 225-ish. I mean, we've only gone up about 7 degrees from where we stalled to cook off all the moisture. Heat off on the potatoes. We've reached 230. It's another 5. I wish I could watch chat and be communicating with all you right now, but I sort of have to sit here and baby this for a little bit. These next 20 degrees or so. Yeah. Perfect defense item. Totally not gonna, in a moment of rushed passion, I'm not gonna spill it all over myself trying to attack someone. I'm seeing a peak of 235 in the pan right now. Alright, now I'm turning the heat back up. Start heating this back up a bit quicker. Starting to get that beautiful golden color. Let me pull those. I'm just now realizing the meatloafs have been in the oven. Even though the oven's off, it's been a bit warm. Yeah, those are good. Got that nice thick, even smells meatloafy. Alright, so we've reached our 250 here with me increasing the temp. Going in with our peanuts. Which these are going to add actually a bit more moisture into this. So we'll get a bit more bubble up. Not much, but some. And then we're bringing this up to 300. Oops, wrong side. You will do fine for that project. Alright, how are we looking over here? Yeah, that dropped us down to at least below, let's say 235-ish. Adding the peanuts. We're already back up to 250 though, so we're quickly coming back up to temp. 260. And you do want to cook the nuts through with the caramel or toffee or whatever term you wish to use, the sugar, because you do want to cook out that moisture in the nuts so that they don't like then bleed out into the sugar and make it all soggy. Like it'll very quickly help break down the candy. That was a 270 I saw there. We're going for 300 before we start mixing other things in here. Approaching 280. One of the nuts still has a skin. I missed one. I didn't do a very... I'm surprised that there's only really one that I see in there. I just did a couple that were on top. All right, so we're there. We are there. And so, like I said, I don't know that I really want to do all of this with ketchup in case it's not the best. So we'll do that with that over there. We'll do you in there. We'll do you in there, you in there. Adding the butter in. Vanilla. Ketchup. Baking soda. Baking powder. I have such a I want to pick that up. No, don't touch that. Leave this alone. Do not burn your hands. I'm not going spelunking for any of the leftover nuts in there. We're just going to let that cool. We're going to turn over to doing our savory stuff again. We've got taters to do. Give these a strain. Back in. Butter in there. Bit of sour cream. Salt. MSG. Pepper. Pepper, pepper, pepper. Back to our cauliflower. Full flame underneath that. We're going to take our sweet and sour sauce. And pour that over the top here. I am wishing that was a little redder, but we're going with it. The flavor is sweet and sour even if the color isn't. It's been a minute since I've messed up a kitchen like this. I got stuff all over the place tonight. I take it back. I maybe should have thickened this sauce. 'Cause that's ready to go. So there's our dinner plate for tonight. Ooh. Hello there, kitchen crew. Welcome in, room and board. Thank you for that lovely raid. How are we all doing this lovely Wednesday? What's new? What's happening? Hi, I'm Chef Jay Tay. Thank you so much for that raid. Where were we all coming from? I'm actually just sort of wrapping up here. You're here just for the big reveal on the finish of everything, all the work tonight. So yeah, welcome, welcome. Hopefully you've had a great time with room and board. Hopefully you've done something lovely. Hopefully you've had a lovely meal there. I've been working with Ketchup tonight. Wednesdays I have an ingredient challenge. Every week we have a vote in my Discord, and on Wednesday I have to use that ingredient for dinner and dessert, so sweet and savory. So for tonight I've done mini meatloafs, or meatball meatloafs, or they're mini meatloafs with obviously ketchup on top. I've done some ancho chili in there with that, with some garlic as well. So yeah. Welcome in, Chef Party. Doing great. Did some tacos, faux cheesy gordita crunch, some cream. Nice. Tacoing it up. That's quite the smorgasbord. That's quite the meal there. Alright, so this was the main part here. I did a sort of sweet and sour. It's rather thin, and it's not quite the color there, but the flavor is there as far as sweet and sour, with some peppers, onions, and cauliflower as a side to our sour cream and butter mashed potatoes and our mini meatloafs. And then the other half to this, let's see if I can hold this pan. The other half is wondering if I'm being too hot on my counter here. We'll put a towel down here now. I have made, it's still cooling down, still pretty warm, peanut brittle. Some of it with ketchup, some of it without. So we're waiting for that to cool, but that's going to be a bit before I can break that up. This is nice and hot still. On the edge of me wanting to even hold that pan from pouring it in there. So we got a couple of photos here. But yeah. Hey, Melvin. So let's see here. I don't really have plans in the calendar here. I will be streaming on Friday, but I don't have menu plans in the calendar for Friday. So we're leaving Friday a surprise. Although I will give you the hint that very likely using chicken in some form. Just because I have it. And then Sunday we're doing Can It Be Delicious. For anyone new in here, I do a once a month challenge where chat votes on 5 different cans out of 25. And I have to make dinner out of those 5 cans. And whatever I have left over in my pantry around the house to turn that into a full meal. Sunday, good time. Hope you all come and join me for that. We got the vote in for next week already in the Discord. Let's see here. Let's look at what we got for our vote right now. Oh, everyone's voting for bourbon. It's looking like bourbon's gonna win that one over canned whipped cream, but who knows? There could be a rally. Where's my whipped cream lovers? I can make a lot more innuendos with whipped cream than I can with bourbon. Just saying. Alright, folks, so that is where I think I am going to leave this lovely evening. We'll have photos up in the Discord of everything in a little bit here. Take a look here and see if we can't return the favor and raid out to somewhere else here. I'm going to send all you lovely people off to go hang out with Pantry Elves tonight. Regular food and drink streamer. They're doing shrimp and ricotta ravioli. It sounds delicious. I'm going to go eat my mini meatloafs. I hope you all have a great finish to your week. I'll be back here to see you on Friday evening, 4:30 Pacific as usual, 7:30 Eastern. Maybe you're in the UK, you can watch me after you come back from the bar. I wish you all a lovely finish to your week. And good night.